Seth, what do you think? Is the way to curb inequality to bring the top down?
Well, we can certainly tax the top more. I mean, I think our tax system fails a lot, not really with CEOs, but with super uber wealthy people who are in many cases paying a lower tax rate than people in the middle. But it's not just about bringing the top down. It's not about bringing the top down at all. It's about raising more revenue, having a fair tax system, and investing in people in the bottom and middle.
Are you talking about changing rates on income, or are you talking about just overall? Because a lot of the wealthiest people earn their money through, they pay capital gains taxes, but that's a lower tax rate right now than they would be paying if it was just earned income.
Exactly. So I think it's more not mostly about not the ordinary income tax rate, but capital gains, and not just the capital gains tax rate, but also the capital gains tax base. Because right now, super wealthy people, if they don't sell their stock, they can accumulate massive wealth. And I'm not talking about like
wealth
a CEO.
Your wealth on paper. You're talking about forcing them to pay a tax even if they haven't realized or recognized those gains yet?
That's right. I mean, I think when you're talking about super wealthy people like billionaires, they enjoy all of the benefits of their wealth. I mean, you say that it's on paper, but in essence, all wealth is on paper. They can borrow against it. They can straddle with losses. There's many ways to avoid taxes, but I think that's the biggest problem with our tax system right now is that super wealthy people can accumulate, in some cases, $100 billion while paying virtually nothing. I mean, none of that income shows up on their tax form.
Michael?
Well, I'm happy to hear Seth say that the problem or that the goal shouldn't be to bring down the rich. That's not the sense you would get if you were listening to the public conversation, if you were listening to many people on the progressive left. The argument seems to be that the wealth gap in and of itself is a problem, the income gap in and of itself is a problem, and we need to shrink that in order to curb their political influence, or in order to not have an oligarchic society or something like that. I actually find myself in broad agreement with Jamie Dimon and with some of what Seth said as well. The goal should be to advance economic opportunity for low-income Americans, for working-class Americans. That's going to cost some money to do that. We shouldn't borrow that money. We should redirect current spending. Perhaps we should raise revenue. But the goal should be to lift people at the bottom up. The goal should not be to tear people at the top down.
I think those are really excellent comments. I get the politics of going after billionaires. It has the benefit of kind of hiding the ball a little bit about all the spending policies that when you add them up all together, they reach a ridiculous level. But we started out by talking about Jamie Dimon. I just want to make a couple comments. Jamie Dimon makes $31 million. There were 3 pitchers in the World Series who make $31 million. Jamie Dimon runs the largest bank in the United States by assets, second in employees, 200,000 employees. He has done a fantastic job. Jamie Dimon is worth every penny of $31 million, and I'd rather it be in his hands than the federal government's hands, because I'm certain that Jamie Dimon plows it back into philanthropic causes and otherwise makes productive use of his capital.
Hey, Seth, Leslie Stahl probably makes 50 to 100 times what the average CBS worker makes. Do you think that TV anchors that may not even write their own questions, should there be a pay cap on TV anchors like that? What do you think?
I don't think there should be a pay cap, but there should be steeply progressive taxes on people who make tens of millions.
I just figured if I'd been Jamie, I would have asked her that question.
So what is Jamie worth? How much should Jamie make a year?
The thing with Jamie Dimon, I mean, I don't know, but the thing is, he says the board sets my pay. Well, who put, it's like he has absolutely nothing to do with selecting the people that are on the board. I mean, I know that, we have some independent compensation committees, but CEOs choose the people that are on the board, and those people recommend the CEOs and recommend the pay packages for the CEOs. I mean, the idea that this is like a purely market transaction, I think is a little bit shading the truth.
You're right. It's below market. Jamie Dimon could leave. Jamie Dimon could leave J.P. Morgan tomorrow, and he could make $150 million a year doing something else. And Jamie Dimon does not select his board. That's wrong. The board of directors of J.P. Morgan chooses incremental additional board members of J.P. Morgan.
I mean, look, it's a thin market, and the market for CEOs is, there's not a huge supply of potential CEOs and a huge demand for potential CEOs, and so you do have to rely on these sort of kind of idiosyncratic institutional factors. But I think any system where you were trying to tie the pay of the CEO to some sort of ratio between CEO pay and average worker pay just seems a little nutty to me.